there's the beep. Hi guys, it's Rob. I want you to come with me and we're going to go for a little walk. We're going to take our time. We're going to go nice and slow. We're going to walk through a neighborhood called like fractions, because that's the kind of neighborhood math teachers walk through. It's a nice neighborhood. You can enjoy the smell of the flowers. Not sleeves on the people walking by, actual flowers. So when we're done going for a walk, I'm going to take you for a quick drive. We're going to get to where we want to go, and we're going to get there faster. But for now, we're going to walk, and we're going to check out all the little details about like fractions, so we know all the background information we need to know. So you got your notes out for adding and subtracting like fractions, and you're going to have your calculator out for the drive we're going to take later. Okay, so I'm going to do my notes here on a Google Meet, so they should be nice and big for you. You can do this on paper and take a picture if you want, or you can do it on Cami just like I am. So we got adding and subtracting like fractions. Like fractions have the same denominator. Denominator is the bottom number. Please write that in. Draw a number line with a fractional scale. We're used to counting by ones. Nobody said we have to count by ones all the time. We're going to count by fractions this time. We're going to add and subtract using the number line. Remember, positive is to the right, negative is to the left. And subtraction means adding the opposite. Subtraction's adding the opposite. Don't forget it. Nationwide is on your side. Okay, so from the combining integers rules, because we're still going to use positives and negatives, even though we're doing fractions, if the signs are the same, we're going to add and keep the sign. If the signs are different, we're going to subtract the numbers or do the difference and take the sign of the bigger absolute value. Remember, absolute value was those bars. And this should be in your other notes. So since we're using fractions today, I want you to know if a fraction is negative, you can write it in the numerator, write it in front of the fraction, or write it in the denominator. I'm going to tell you the best place to put it, though, is in the numerator. When students write it here, sometimes it blends in with the line and it isn't noticeable. And if you put it down here in the calculator doesn't like it. Don't ask me why, but he's my friend, so if he doesn't like that, I won't do it. So we're going to do this. We're going to write it in simplest form. Simplest form means to reduce. So don't forget that. We're not going to start off with the answer. We're going to start off with the number line. So I'm going to put 0 here. Again,
0 does not have to be in the middle of the number line. It's in between the positives and negatives. Nobody said I had to put it in the middle of the number line. So since our denominator is ninths, it's ninths, we're going to count by ninths. So this is 1/9, 2/9, 3/9, 4/9, 5/9, 6/9, 7/9, 8/9. And then when I get to 9/9, that is equivalent to a what? Oh, and yeah, I said ninths, but I didn't write it because I thought it would be faster to do it this way. I'll go put the over 9 or the divide by 9 in here later. Then remember, there's negatives to the left, just like it used to be -1, -2, -3, -4. But we're doing ninths today, so -1/9, -2/9, -3/9, -4/9. I'm not actually going to need any negatives for this question, but it's good to know how to number the number line. It's good to know the order to numbers. We always start at 0. Positive is to the right, so positive 5/9 is how many spaces? Well, if every space is 1/9, and I need 5 of them, I need 5 spaces. So there's my 5/9. And then I have another positive, so I'm going to go to the right. 2/9. Every space is 1/9, so 1, 2/9. And you can see the answer is 7/9.
easy peasy lemon squeezy. Nice flat road for us to walk on. Not a lot of effort for that. Okay? I'm going to try the next one. And the next one is a subtraction question, so you have to remember that subtraction's adding the opposite. So we're going to rewrite this first. The first number stays. Subtraction is adding. And the opposite of 7/8 is a negative 7/8.
Okay, so we're measuring by eighths this time, so we are going to count by eighths. So just go ahead and put some numbers on the number line. You guys are probably faster than me with this stuff at this point. This is where we would chit chat if we were in class when I'm doing stuff like this. Tell me about your day. Tell me what you're doing for the weekend. I went to a birthday party, which basically consists of driving by somebody's house and honking. It's a sign of the times now. I'm pretty sure we have enough there. If we don't, I can add more in later. I can go to 9/8. That would be 1 1/8. Practice some mixed numbers will come up soon. You've done fractions before. You've done mixed numbers before. So, we're going to do this problem I did right here. We're going to go positive 5/8 to the right 5 of the 8ths. Then we're going to go negative, which is left, 7 of the 8ths. So that's 7 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Points to the answer. Please remember to point. I need to know which direction you are traveling in. And it points to negative 2/8. I'm going to box in my answer since it's getting a little bit sloppy here. So when we add, if we were not going to use a number line, what did we do with like denominators? Let's see. Right here, it looks like, how did I get 7? I did 5 plus 2. How did I get 9? It was always 9. How did I get negative 2? 5 and negative 7. How did I get 8? It's always 8. That is because the rule for adding fractions, otherwise known as a rational number, so that's a vocab, with like denominators, is you're going to something to something using the integer rules and rewrite the denominator. So the something that's not the denominator is the numerator. And we add or subtract them. So a better way to say it is just to say combine. I combine them. Okay, combine the numerator and rewrite the denominator. So let's go for a ride now. We walk through the neighborhood nice and slow. Oops, so we got your calculator out. Mine's school bus yellow because it's a school calculator. And we need to put in fractions. So we're going to tell the calculator I'm going to put in a fraction by pressing the fraction button. It is n over d. It is located above the sign under the probability next to the times 10 to the n. It's right here. So I'm going to press the fraction button, and it's got 2 blank space, one for the numerator and one for the denominator. So in the top, I'm going to put 5, and the bottom, I'm going to put 9. So top of 5, and then I press the down button to get the 9. And I'm still in the denominator, so to get out of the fraction, I'm just going to go to the right. I'm going to press the plus, and then I'll press the fraction again and do 2 on top, go down for 9, and go right to get out. When you press enter, it should tell you 7/9. Okay? Try that again for the second one. I'm going to clear that out. I'm going to press the fraction button, 5, down, 8, and I'm going to put in the original problem to make sure that all my work was right. I don't want to use my work in case my work was wrong. I want to use the original question when doing things on the calculator. So I go to the right and I press subtract. It's not a negative. It's a subtraction sign. Fraction button, 7 on top, down to the denominator to get 8. Go to the right to get out, and it tells me negative 1/4. Okay, that's because the calculator reduced, and we forgot to reduce.
So I'm going to go back in here and reduce this because I can divide both of these by 2 to reduce my answer. This is the awesome thing about the calculator, is it always reduces for you. Okay, so now we're going to go to the second page. Second page is more review, reading a table. So we have Sean surveyed 10 classmates to find, it's supposed to be which type of tennis shoes they like to wear. What fraction of students like to wear cross trainers? So you're going to look at this. I'm going to see cross trainers is 5. And I need a fraction, so the denominator is what it's out of. It's out of the total, which is 10. And then when you go to reduce, what goes into both? 5 does. 5 goes into 5 once and into 10 twice. That reduces to a half. Okay? Why don't you check out the next one? How many wear high tops? High tops are 2. It's still going to be out of 10. You can reduce this by 2 for each, and that comes out to be 1/5. I hope that you notice that this is a special number. It's a property here, the 1. It's the identity property for division and multiplication. You can divide and multiply it by 1 and still get something that's equal. So that's why reducing works, because you can divide by 1. Okay, what fraction do students like to wear? Either cross trainers or high tops. Cross trainers was 5 out of 10. High tops was 2 out of 10. If you can wear either one, you're adding those choices together. We did that on the last page. You get 7 out of 10. And then you always have to know how to explain, even if I let you use a calculator. So you add the numerators, and keep the denominators. So you do 3 and 2, which is 5, and the denominator is 10. So the answer is 5 out of 10. Okay.
Okay, back to number 4. Sam ate 3/5 of a cheese pizza. Jake ate 1/5 of a cheese pizza and 2/5 of a pepperoni pizza. How much pizza did Sam and Jake eat together? And together will mean add. So
even if we do this on the calculator, you have to write down on the paper the work. And the work, if you put something in the calculator, is writing what it is that you put in the calculator. So I'm fine with the calculator, but you can't just stick an answer on a page. You have to say what you did with the numbers. Well, I added them. So 3/5 and 1/5 and 2/5 is, if you add all the numerators, 6. And you keep the denominators since they're like denominators. And then hopefully you remember how to change an improper fraction. Let's write that down. Improper fraction. In case there is it's in a vocabulary. Improper is when the numerator is bigger than the denominator. We're going to change that to a mixed number. So this line here, let's not forget, fractions are fractions because they're divided into parts. So I'm going to do 6 and divide it by 5. 5 goes into 6 one time. I get 5. And the leftover amount is 1. So it's 1 whole with 1 part of the 5 parts left over. 1 and 1/5. There's actually a button for that too, but you know what? I don't even think I have to do that. If you did this problem in the calculator,
it probably skipped right to the 1 and 1/5. So if I put 6/5 in my calculator and wanted to change it to mixed, I would press the second times 10 to the n button, which is where it's green and it has the n over d fraction, double arrows, and the u n over d. That's the symbol for let's change a fraction to a mixed number. So 1 and 1/5. Okay, on the bottom, you could do these on the calculator if you want, but again, I still want to see some work. And the work that I want to see is that anytime you have subtraction, you are changing it to adding the opposite. This is the subtraction sign. So I'm going to change it to adding the opposite.
It's really best if I rewrite it. So that subtraction is changing to adding, and the 2/9 is the opposite, is a negative 2/9. And then if you want to stick it in your calculator, that's fine. You're going to get 3/9, which you won't get in your calculator because your calculator will reduce right away. Divide both of those by 3. On this one, the subtraction sign is here in the middle between the numbers. We're going to change that to adding the opposite. Now, if you write over top of it like I just did, make it large, in charge, and noticeable. Okay, if you do it in black, it's not going to be noticeable. But hey, we have color this year, so if you use color, it's going to be a lot more noticeable. So you're going to put in the calculator, actually you would put the calculator negative 5/9 minus 2/9. But Mrs. Roberts wants you to show this step. I would put the original problem in the calculator. Negative 5/9 minus 2/9 comes out to be negative 7/9, and that does not reduce. When I use the calculator, I always put the original in. So here I would put in negative 11/12 minus parentheses negative 5/12 and the parentheses. The parentheses buttons are above the 8 and the 9. Okay, you should try that on the calculator. Mrs. Roberts still wants you to change a subtraction problem to an adding the opposite problem. So this was the middle. I changed this to add, and I changed negative to the opposite, which is positive. So that's going to go into your calculator. You will not get this. I get this doing it myself. The calculator will automatically reduce it for you, which is beautiful. Okay, and that's where the driving through the neighborhood we're going to drive the calculator to the answer. We get there faster. We don't look around that too much. Okay, see you guys in the next lesson on unlike denominators.